To be too conscious is an illness, a real, thoroughgoing illness. These words from Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground cut straight to the heart of the human experience. What does it mean to live with a heightened sense of awareness? Why does such consciousness often feel like a curse rather than a gift?
In this video, we'll explore Dostoevsky's profound insights into the connection between pain and consciousness, and we'll weave in a story that brings his philosophy to life. It's a story about isolation, struggle, and ultimately, redemption, a story that mirrors the lives of so many of us today. Imagine this. There's a young man named Alexei. He's brilliant, observant, and deeply reflective, but this sharp mind of his often feels like a double-edged sword.
Alexei sees the world differently from most people. When his friends laugh at a joke, Alexei doesn't just laugh, he wonders why it's funny. What does humor say about human nature? When he walks through the city, he doesn't just admire the buildings. He feels the weight of the history they carry, the lives lived within them, the dreams that crumbled, and the hopes that endured.
It's a beautiful way to see the world, but it's also exhausting. Like Dostoevsky's Underground Man, Alexei is caught in a trap of overthinking. He can't escape his own mind, and the more he understands, the more he suffers. Dostoevsky would say that Alexei's suffering is not a flaw in his character, it is a sign of his humanity. Pain and suffering, Dostoevsky wrote, are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Through characters like the Underground Man, he reveals a paradox. The more deeply we feel, the more pain we experience, but that pain is not meaningless. It's a pathway to truth.
Alexei's struggle mirrors the Underground Man's. Both are haunted by their own consciousness. They see life's absurdities and injustices with painful clarity. They see their own flaws magnified, and this awareness isolates them. But here's the twist. Dostoevsky doesn't suggest that this pain should be avoided. In fact, he argues that suffering is essential. It's through suffering that we grow, connect, and find meaning.
Let's go back to Alexei's story. One day, he decides to confront his isolation. He joins a debate group at his university, hoping to find others who share his love of philosophy.
But when he gets there, he feels out of place. The conversations seem shallow to him, the arguments rehearsed. He realizes he doesn't fit in, and once again, he retreats into himself, doubting his ability to connect with others.
This moment of rejection is painful, but it's also a turning point. Alexei remembers Dostoevsky's words, man is sometimes extraordinarily, passionately, in love with suffering. It sounds strange, but Alexei begins to see the truth in it. He realizes that his pain, his sense of isolation, is rooted in his freedom to think deeply and independently. He's not constrained by the superficial, and this freedom, though isolating, is also empowering. Dostoevsky believed that suffering is a teacher. Through pain, we confront our deepest fears and truths. Alexei begins to embrace this idea.
Instead of avoiding his struggles, he starts writing about them. His journal becomes a place where he explores his thoughts without fear of judgment. Over time, he realizes that his pain is not unique, it's part of the human condition. And in sharing his reflections, he finds a small but meaningful community of people who understand him. Through his writing, Alexei discovers what Dostoevsky himself believed. Pain connects us, it deepens our empathy, and allows us to see the humanity in others. Alexei's journey reflects the struggles many of us face today. In a world of constant distractions, we often avoid pain and deep thought, but Dostoevsky's philosophy reminds us that suffering and consciousness are inseparable, and that's not a bad thing.
Think about it. When was the last time you allowed yourself to sit with a difficult emotion, to really reflect on your life? It's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. As Dostoevsky wrote, suffering is the sole origin of consciousness.
Alexei's story teaches us that pain is not something to run from. It's a sign that we're alive, thinking, feeling, and it's through this pain that we find meaning, connection, and even freedom.
In the end, Alexei doesn't escape his pain, it becomes a part of him. But it's no longer a burden, it's a source of strength. He learns to embrace the paradox of consciousness, that the same awareness that causes suffering also gives life its richness. Dostoevsky's works challenge us to do the same, to confront our pain, to question our lives, and to find beauty in the struggle, because, as he wrote, the mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. Thank you for watching.